and welcome back to Tailor-Made Cards for You. Well, hopefully you just finished watching my 7 days of Halloween and it got you in the mood and in the spirit for creating Halloween projects. But we're going to jump right into Christmas. Now, I know that you still might be making your Halloween makes, and that's great because we still have plenty of time to create wonderful projects for Halloween. But with Christmas, it seems to sneak up upon us very quickly. So I wanted to go ahead and start creating some projects for you. Now, I probably won't do a 12 days of Christmas like I've done in the past because that's just too big of a commitment. But I do commit to create some Christmas videos and then I'll just post them sporadically. I think that'll work better for me so that way we don't have to end up it being December 24th and I'm just posting my videos. So hopefully I'll be able to get several videos out there for the Christmas season, and like I said, I'll just post them as I create them. But I did want to share with you today, before we jump into a project, some of the items that I picked up. Now, I haven't done my holiday Christmas shopping for my projects yet, but I did go to Joann's today because they have been carrying some of the new Idea-ology for the seasons, and that's wonderful because I don't have to worry about shipping. I can just go get it and then I can bring it home and I can start making. But unfortunately, they didn't have everything. So I just picked up a few items and it looks like I am going to go ahead and have to put in an order to one of my favorite shops online. But let me go ahead and share with you what I picked up today and what I'm going to be working with this season. So I love Idea-ology and I love creating projects that are 3D. So I went ahead and I picked up the tin tops as well as the mini flare Christmas items. I think these are great on tags and on projects and I'm excited to use these. And they didn't have any Christmas ephemera, so I went ahead and just picked up these little snippets because these will be work well for some of my small makes. Of course, I picked up the Christmas paper dolls because you know how I feel about my paper dolls, and we'll be adding those to the family. And then I also saw the textured paste, and this is the icicle crackle paste and the snowfall grit paste. Now, when I saw Tim introduce this, I wasn't really sure if I was going to work with it, but since I saw it at Joann's, I went ahead and I picked it up. So we're going to be playing with this a little bit this season as well. So this is what I have so far. I do plan on picking up at least one new stamp set. There is one I have my eye on. So I'm hoping to get that ordered in the next few days. And then we can start jumping right into our Christmas videos. So now that I've shared with you some of the new items that I picked up, let's go ahead and jump into our project. Okay, so a few weeks ago on Instagram, I shared with you these little tags that my husband cut out for me, and I'm going to use them to decorate. Now, they might look familiar because these are old Monopoly game boards that I found at the thrift store, and they are the perfect thickness to be able to create on. They kind of remind me of these here, and these are from Tim Holtz, but as you can see, they're pretty close. So I use this as a template and then I cut it down. Now, first, my idea was to decorate the Monopoly board, which I'm gonna do, but once I cut it out, I wasn't really pleased with the border, so I had the great idea of covering it with some tape. But ultimately, I didn't like that either. So my next round, I'm going to make sure that I just trim off the border so I have a nice edge looking the same way all the way around. Additionally, I don't know if you can see, but I made the mistake of marking it with a pen versus a pencil, which doesn't come off. So that was a mistake that I made, and I'll correct that next time as well. I have several Monopoly boards as well as other game boards, so I plan on cutting these out and doing makes with these as well. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to create some Christmas tags. And as you can see, this is from the Monopoly board. And what I did is I just covered it and I decorated. And it has really nice thickness. So you can use it to decorate your Christmas presents as little decors. Or you can even make a little booklet, which I'm going to try to do as well. But today we're just going to go ahead and create the tag. So let's do that. Now, I found some old Tim Holtz paper. You might recognize this. So this is what we're going to use to cover it. And then the way that I cover mine, you can easily use glue, but I like to use double-sided tape because I get a nice, strong adhesive all the way around. With glue, you might have some pieces of the corners that don't completely stick down, but if you use the double-sided tape, you're going to get a nice coverage all the way around. And then I'm just going to go ahead and turn this over and glue it down. I should say tape it down. All right. And as you can see, that sticks really, really nicely. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my X-Acto knife, and I need to get my Tim Holtz media mat up here, and we're going to cut this out. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, now ordinarily I would work on my media mat, but I'm taping at night and I have my lights on, and as you can see I get this terrible glare, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't have my mat on my table to begin with. But to cut my paper, I did want to have my media mat since I'm using my X-Acto knife. And as you know, this is tempered glass, so it doesn't crack or break or anything, so it's perfect for cutting. And you're going to want to just take your time, do several slices if you need to. It's going to come off really nicely, making sure you don't cut off a finger along the way, because that would not be good. Now, the boards themselves, they were cut exactly the same way. We had a bigger X-Acto knife, and my husband actually did that for me. But if you did want to cut your own game boards, it's the same process. You're going to probably want to have some sort of a metal ruler. You're going to want to, of course, pencil out your shape, and then just cut it exactly like I'm doing here. And it will take you a minute because this game board is somewhat thick. But just take your time and do several slices and you'll be able to cut through it. Obviously now I'm just cutting through paper, so it's coming off pretty easily. All right. So as you can see, it covered it nicely. And then what I do at this point, I take my sander and I sand off the blue because I want it to be all of the board cover. And it makes a little bit of a mess, but you know, just have a trash can handy to slide it right in. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this mat so we don't have the glare. Okay, so now that we have all of our sides the same color, we're going to go ahead and add some color to get rid of the white. And I'm just using walnut stain to cover my edges here. And my paper is already, it's designer paper, so I don't have to do a lot of backgrounds, but of course I'm going to do some layering to decorate it up. So the card that I made already is this one here. And as you can see, for the background, I just used a bigger piece. I used my paper dolls and a couple of my ephemera pieces. So we'll probably do something similar to that. I'm having to work with some of my Christmas ephemera from last year because, like I said, I haven't gotten the new ephemera yet, but I have a lot left over from last year, so I think we'll be able to be just fine here. And then, of course, excuse the reach, we'll play with some of our new paper dolls. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to do here. The paper doll set is a little different this year. Tim added some bigger photos, which are very cool. Probably wouldn't work well for a tag, but it's always nice to have a variety. And then he added, you know, photos that have more than just a couple of people. So if you're making bigger projects, these are going to be great for that. Now another thing he did this year, let's just pull out our little friends, is he added some like photo booth images. So it's not just your typical paper dolls. You have a variety of pictures in this set. And that's one of the reasons, oh, adorable. It's one of the reasons I like to pick up the new sets every year, because it's always a little different. And he continues to add characters. So you're not necessarily buying the same characters over and over again. You're always adding to your collection. So that's why I tend to get the new paper doll sets every year, just because it's always something a little different. So I'm probably going to work with an adult this time. My other tag were kids. So let's see if we can work with adults. Something sitting down. This is always the part that takes a little bit of time, because you got to figure out exactly what you want to work with. So hopefully you'll stick it out with me. That's a nice couple. So let's go ahead and use that one right there. Okay, that's a great one as well. This is a new one, so that's a nice one. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and find something for our background. Home for the holidays. Now remember, your background is going to get covered a little bit, but you know, you can always place it where you get the idea. So even if I covered part of it, you still get the idea with the background. And then I'm probably going to want to do something at the bottom. I have these left over from prior years. The new set of these labels, the words are actually cut out. So he stopped doing it as one line. I guess it wasn't very popular. So now you can buy these, but the words are already cut out. So I may do something like this. Let's see. Like I said, this is the part that always takes the longest, because you're just trying to figure out what layers you want to use. Okay, so I went ahead and decided to use the Wonder Believe and then the 25. So I'm going to go ahead and add that first to the bottom. And I kind of wanted to keep the black and white theme going on, and that's why I chose to use the label tape rather than one of my chipboards. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the bottom. And then we'll add the Home for the Holidays next. I think I'm going to go ahead and just dress it up just a little bit. Now this Home for the Holidays isn't part of the Tim Holtz ephemera. This is actually from my shop, and I just stuck it with my other ephemera, but this will work nice. And again, I know that it's going to get covered up a little bit, but I'm okay with that. We're just going to strategically place it so we can see some of the background, but we don't necessarily have to see the entire background. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my glue to my characters. So as you can see, it's a very simple tag with just a few elements. And then, you know, working with the wet glue, if you want to have some of your background to show a little bit more, you can always adjust it just a bit if you need to. All right. Okay. And then let's see, what else can I add? I think what I might do is just add some numbers underneath. Sometimes just having numbers underneath is a nice addition, so I think I'll go ahead and I'll do that. Numbers are always great for interest, so these little tickets are perfect as extra embellishments. Okay. And then let's see. Not sure. Like I said, I want to kind of keep it as a black and white, so I think I might just put that up there. I wonder if I have a smaller one. No, we'll go ahead and use this one. Now you might be thinking, you know, what does that pointy finger have to do with Christmas? Well, it doesn't have anything to do with Christmas, but again, I kind of like the black and white with a little bit of red as a contrast. And then if you want to, you know, continue to add remnant rubs, you can do that as well. Okay, so I'm just going to add a couple of remnant rubs, just because I have room and they're small. And I always like to add little extra words. And I think I'm going to put it, let's see. Where should I put that? Should I put that there? Or should I put it here? I mean, either way it would work, I think. Probably wouldn't work there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just put it here on the side. Just because it's a little bit more sturdy with it being wood. And I want to make sure it sticks. Remnant rubs work great on a hard surface. With paper, the paper tends to push down as you rub the items, but they work great on harder surface. And let's see. That S is coming up, so I'm trying to get it underneath her arm. It's just the little details. Probably doesn't make a difference, but let's see if I can manage that. No, I guess we'll just leave it, which is fine. Okay. All right, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, this was a very easy tag. With some of the bigger paper dolls, it doesn't take much at all. And then, of course, if you want to add, you know, little clips, you can do that. So I hope that you liked the kickoff of my Christmas videos. This was a very simple video, but just to give you a little sneak peek of what I'll be working on. And I'm going to be creating cards. I'll be creating next video. We're going to be creating with some of my items that I got. And I'm super excited to be trying this out as well. So hopefully, if you're not a subscriber, you will subscribe. And you'll click the bell so that way when I do upload a new video, you will be notified and you'll be ready to go. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.